How you doing? My name is Gabriel Delgado Soto, and it's a pleasure. All right, so continuing off my rift on Facebook. I love timers. Um, let's see. So, I was raised in Puerto Rico. My grandfather and my father, and all the men in my family. Obviously, the women were there too. They showed me a lot of shit. They told me all the time. But the men in my family would take me through these things. Like cockfights and this and that and all this shit. And all the while, they'd be teaching me like valuable lessons about life and shit. So I arrived in America. You know, my mom wanted to leave Puerto Rico. She felt like we couldn't grow there as a family because of the conditions that were set upon us. So she wanted to make a, break for it. Had to do America. So she came here with us. Escaped all that shit down there. Came here with us. It was a good move on our part. We immediately, like ducks to water, we started taking to it. Awesome, we're going around, we're getting to know people, shit like that, having fun. That's when I began to notice it. It was in their eyes. They'd be saying something, their eyes would flinch. They'd be doing something, and something would happen, or something would happen. And as I started noticing this, I realized, well, shit, what was going on here? Started looking into it. It wasn't just racism. It was actually a whole bunch of shit stacked on top of shit, covered in shit. So, I wanted to learn how to teach, how to speak as a kid. So I took to it like a duck to water. And, by the time I was 10, let's just say, the duck came out the water, started just plopping on me. He just started doing his thing. Fucking ducks. Anyway, so he comes out the water. He's learned all he needs to learn. He comes out the water and he's ready. Meeting up with people, he's meeting up with all these images. He's walking right past them like, but he can't figure out why they don't stick. They stick when he's around. When he's gone, things deteriorate again. They stick when he's around, but the minute he's gone, it deteriorates. Started wondering about that. So, I had a lot of thinking. I looked into my past. I was just all right, let me talk or some shit. I was looking into my past, like, oh yeah, where the fuck this thing coming from? Why the fuck does it keep getting? I'm teaching it correctly. I know what I'm saying because I'm studying hard as shit. And that's when I started realizing how these images are formed. And so, the funny thing about love, like kids are born scientists. Love as an unconditioned state is a form of expression and interaction with the world. It is the way we as human beings exist and proliferate. Turns out that you can actually attack a child through the mother and the father. Funny thing about it. I was having a hard time understanding it. See, I, as a child, was a very loving person. I always come with love. Love. My eyes were full of love. Because I wasn't careful. I was stupid. It happens to all of us, don't worry. You see, love, when, sure, maybe, certain areas in the neighborhood, love, it's possible, could come nice and clean from your parents. Most of the time, it's not. Okay? It's just not. It's going to bleed. Like, even the smallest kernel will bleed out through their soul and into their child. So a lot of these kids that I was trying to help, what was beating them out of my position was that they were expressing themselves without defense. So when they were learning from another person, they were taking damage into themselves. You know, they were listening to anybody and not distinguishing what the people were saying. You know, incapable of that. My family got a little lucky. I think it's because, I don't know, you know, tradition's tradition. I remember as a kid, you know, before mom, like once my mom got us up here, at first down in Puerto Rico, there used to be a lot of beatings and violence and all that shit. But once she took us out of Puerto Rico, within a year or two, that shit stopped. She was learning quick. You know, my mom was a quick learner. She had no ambition, so she didn't, you know, take it where it should go. But as far as, you know, virtue and shit like that, yeah, she was taking that like a duck to water. You know? But we used to be, like, as kids, like, every time we fucked up, they'd have us kneel on the floor with little rice things underneath our knees, covering our shins. We'd have to sit there and meditate. Funny memories that you always go, I wonder about you sometimes, but, you know? So they'd have us kneeling on these things. I, of course, you know, even as a kid, man, I took to that shit like duck to water. I'd be looking around and my brother's like, dude, which one of us is gonna crack first? And we'd be looking at each other like, I ain't cracking, motherfucker. I ain't cracking. I can take this shit all day. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Fucking love that shit. We were fucking some wild kids, though. Baby's kids ain't got nothing on us, man. We were fucking nuts. Like, I feel sorry for my mom sometimes, but she did the best she could to control us. There wasn't a man around. Yeah. And happy, but shit, by the time we were like fucking 8, we were trying to scare her. We'd be waiting for her at the staircase and shit. She'd be walking home from work. We'd come out scared. Man, we fucked up. Anyway. So, you know, all this damage was actually fucking with my teachings, man. That's what I figured out. So, in order to be able to sideskip the love damage, because obviously if I come with love, I trigger their fucking emotions. You know, I had to come up with a different angle. You know, I've been learning different angles. You know, each problem has its own angle. I go with it. You just work around it. So when a person's walking with me, you know, like I catch them at every step. But I try to make it nice and light. Because, you know, if you don't have some fun with it, shit can get real serious real fast. You know? And once it does, man, it's over. You've trapped them. You know, I don't like to trap people. You know, I keep my smokes. Keep my smokes. You remember? There's always a little dirt in my water. You know, I'll just say it. It's a reminder so that, you know, it's like putting a little bit of oil on your body so they can't really cling to that shit. They slip right the fuck off. You know? And it works. For the most part. Sometimes you gotta go real dirty to get them to fling off. But, you know, everything requires is love. Depending on how much power you're handling at the moment, you know, you might need a little, you might need a lot of dirt. Whatever. But so I started learning all these things as a kid. You know, I'm getting really good at this shit. And then I'm trying to figure out, okay, why isn't it sticking now? Then I realized, because we're preparing them for a certain environment. And as it has a certain mentality. And that's starting to take them away now. Honestly, I just started going, you know what, fuck it. It's every time I try to fix something, there's always another problem. You know? Sure, I'll get them there for a bit and then something else takes their attention. This fucking environment, man. There's just nothing I can do about it. I mean, if everybody was safe everywhere, everything would be safe. But not everybody's safe everywhere, so nothing's safe. Motherfuckers get too far away from me, next thing I know, they're gang members. You know? Can't do nothing about that shit. The fuck. So, I gave up on it. Started studying. I was like, shit, man, I don't need this. Fuck all that shit, man. I'm done with that shit. Until I came up on Carlos' book. Man, that guy was so good at it, yo. The way he was explaining it, I'm like, dude, you even know how to tap a shoulder? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna tap people on the shoulder every time I catch them from now on, just to remind me of you. But then I stopped doing that because people were like, what the fuck are you always tapping me on the shoulder for? I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Look, I'm just gonna catch you differently now. Tapping shoulder is pretty cute. And you bring them into the other part. And then when you do that, you just walk right in and just be yourself. Just remember to tap on the way up. I mean, that could be crazy. You never know. That's how you avoid an image. Y'all have a good one. Peace.